today we will have interview or focus discussion with Mr. Basil Fernando from ASEAN Human Rights Commission, international and also regional organization based in Hong Kong. And we will interview today with Mr. Kristianto, leader of labor union of the Maybank. He was dismissed from his job because of his involvement in the public protests last year, and currently his case already reported in the Jakarta Metropolitan Police, and he was summoned by the police investigator, and the case now is on progress. Mr. Kristianto, and we also have Mr. Fatul Khoir from Kontras, the Commission for Disappearances and Victims of Violence, is Java office. He is one of the lawyers who advocate and also provide legal assistance for Mr. Kristianto and cases which occurred under the current government's administration. So we have coalition of the human rights lawyer who advocate the case similar with the case facing by Mr. Kristianto. So Mr. Fatul Khoir and also Mr. Kristianto, the interview will be conducted in English. So I will, if you need help, I will help to translate the interview. So
okay.
Don't worry about that. So Mr. Basil, so we are ready. I will give the opportunity to you. I will translate to the two of speakers. Thank you, Mr. Basil.
Okay. Now we can begin with Mr. Kristianto.
Okay.
If he tells his story briefly, and then we can begin with that, and we can go to the continue the discussion.
Yes. Okay. So jadi kita bisa mulai dengan Pak Kristianto. Sedikit latar belakang kasusnya, dan kemudian kita bisa memulai diskusi. Silakan, Pak.
Okay. Our public protest in Jakarta at on 11 and 12 February 2019, there's two major problem. Ya, dua masalah utama. Two major problem. First, PHK atas nama saya, PHK itu apa? Maybank fired me.
Yeah, fired and or dismissed from.
Dismissed from office at June 22, 2017. Because I not refuse, but I want to discuss about penugasan itu apa?
Penugasan dari siapa?
Penugasan dari kantor, penugasan.
Penugasan is appointed.
Assignment.
Yeah. Assignment, yeah.
Yeah, assignment from Maybank, Indonesia. Then they fired me. But the problem, progress to court. The court in Surabaya, Industrial Relation Court, ya, atau PHI in Surabaya, and continue to Supreme Court. The decision is I was still fired since January 31, 2018 because violation the collective labor agreement or PKB without mentioning which article was violated. Then, but the notification of the decision of Supreme Court was submitted to the lawyer and me on April 4, 2019. April 4, 2019. And the copy of the decision of the Supreme Court was received by the lawyer on April 19, 2019. Yeah. So at the time of the demonstration or public protest or rallies on 11 and 12 February 2019, we had not received any information about the decision from the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Yeah. Second problem is pra-collective labor agreement negotiation. Yeah. The company, Maybank Indonesia, attend the meeting and took the lead. The company direct the verification using data from the company itself. Data verification based on debiting membership fees, not based on statutory regulation. Namely, a verification based on membership card or registration. Yeah. The impact of this kind of verification is that our membership does not reach 10% from total employees as a condition for participating in the negotiation. Even though our union protests, the negotiation were carried out and going forward without involving our union. It should be suspected that the company did not want our union to join the negotiation because of idealism and concept of empowering and protecting our workers better than others, which could influence our other negotiating team. Other problem is normative violation of collective labor agreement. Itu dua permasalahan utamanya, Mas. Kemudian
that is the two main problem, and then
okay,
the criminal case. I mean the progress case of the summon.
Okay.
Police summon Jakarta Metropolitan Police, please.
Okay. January. So in February 11, we protest and make 12 demand to company, which is stop layoff or fire do restructuring, stop PKB negotiation and verify according to law, negotiating wage, scale structure, and so on. And public protest is into 3 days: Maybank itself, headquarter, then OJK, and then kedutaan embassy, Malaysian embassy. Sorry, in April 4, 2019, our union sent a letter regarding to result of the meeting with the management as a follow-up to the initial meeting in Padang, that human capital director was not come as promised as the beginning, but was represented by the head of employee relation division. The letter explained that whereas there are efforts to lead or drive the problem becoming a personal matter to the leader by carrying out this issue of ethnic or regionalism of the my deputy. Our union strive to build communication, but the management respond as if there are no problems. Then third, our union believes that a verification is still problematic and will be sure as suggested by the management. And fourth, management informed that they has met the Financial Service Authority (OJK) to please the management, Maybank management to settle it in law or justice manner, including criminal proceeding. April 24, 2019, Maybank management sent a letter as respond our letter before yeah. The idea regarding this, it deserves to be considered the legal consequences that can arise and legal remedies, including but not limited to the delivery of false or false information, slander, fake news, defamation, and others that can actually cause both material and immaterial harm in a corporate environment. May 2nd, 2019, management report to Polda Metro regarding act of defamation and or defamation through electronic media occurred during a demonstration or a public protest on 11 and 12 February 2019 at Central Senayan 3, Maybank headquarters. The reporter is Miss Regina Taloga as the legal authority of PT Bank Maybank Indonesia. July 4th, 2019, myself and Maybank signed a funding deed.
It's peace agreement.
For peace agreement. Peace agreement with Maybank for the fire. And July 23, 2019, I received a letter clarification from Polda Metro Jaya requesting the presence of on August 2nd at Jakarta on charge of defamation and or defamation through electronic media. But I didn't come.
Yeah. Just a minute. Could you explain this? The law regarding the defamation, how people can be arrested for defamation? Maybe the lawyer can explain.
Bisakah dijelaskan sedikit tentang ITE, Undang-Undang ITE ini ya? Apakah ini bisa menahan atau menangkap seseorang?
Pencemaran nama baik itu.
Iya, tentang pencemaran nama baik itu yang di bawah ITE law, atau mungkin pengacara bisa membantu, silakan. Itu yang diminta Pak Basir.
Jadi begini, apa yang dialami Pak Kris ketika tadi dijelaskan singkat mengenai kronologis masalah ya. Kemudian pihak Maybank melaporkan Pak Kris dengan tuduhan melanggar pasal 310 KUHP dan 27 Undang-Undang ITE.
Okay, the case experienced by Mr. Kristianto under the ITA, Electronic Transaction and Information Law, and charged also under the Article 310 of the Indonesian Penal Code and Article 27 of the Indonesian ITA Law. Terus?
Pertama, sebelum masuk lebih jauh dalam proses pemeriksaan, saya ingin menjelaskan bahwa dalam konteks pidana 310 Undang-Undang 27 ayat 3 tentang penyebaran nama baik Undang-Undang ITE itu tentu harus merujuk pada pasal 310. Nah,
so before we examine further the case of the criminal defamation, we have to discuss further the Article 310 of the Indonesian Penal Code.
Nah, dari latar belakang kasus yang kemudian kita pelajari, tidak ada, kita belum menemukan unsur 310 yang dituduhkan kepada Pak Kris, karena kami melihat informasi-informasi yang disampaikan melalui protes yang tadi disebutkan tanggal 12 waktu di kantor Maybank dan
okay, so far the lawyer team has examined the case and we have not yet find the reason under the Article 310 of the criminal defamation.
Nah, dalam hal yang janggal dalam konteks pelaporan Pak Kris ini, pertama kita melihat bahwa waktu pemeriksaan awal di tahun 2019 sekitar bulan November ya, kami penyidik tidak, pada saat kami menangani, kami sempat menanyakan kepada penyidik apa unsur pelanggaran 310-nya.
So in the first examination of the police investigator, the lawyer team asked the investigator what is the element of crime under the Article 310 related with this case.
Di penyidik tidak bisa menyampaikan, belum menyampaikan mengenai konten materi yang dituduhkan kepada Pak Kris menyangkut pasal 310 dan 27 ayat 3 Undang-Undang ITE.
And the investigator cannot answer the question from the lawyer under the Article 310 and also Article 27 under the ITA law.
Nah, kemudian kami berkirim surat kepada penyidik untuk minta gelar perkara khusus agar perkara ini kemudian terang benderang.
Then we send a letter to the police investigator of Jakarta Metropolitan Police to open up the case to examine further the content of the case.
Nah, hingga tahun 2020 di bulan November, kemudian baru ada panggilan lagi pemeriksaan sebagai saksi gitu.
Finally, on November 2020, Mr. Kristianto summoned again by the police as on the capacity of witness.
Nah, yang kedua dalam konteks pelaporan ini bahwa yang kami pahami bahwa unsur 310 itu yang seharusnya yang melapor itu harus perseorangan, bukan atas nama kuasa hukum. Nah, dalam konteks
actually under the Article 310 of the Indonesian Penal Code, the person who file report should be personal, not bukan badan hukum
company.
Ya, not company.
Ya. Nah, dalam konteks laporan di Polda Metro ini yang melaporkan adalah pengacara yang mendapat kuasa dari perusahaan.
So in this case, the person who file reports against Mr. Kristianto is a lawyer on behalf of the company.
Yeah.
Padahal seharusnya dalam konteks pencemaran nama baik itu korbannya langsung yang kemudian harus melapor, dan itu merujuk pada orang, bukan pada institusi itu.
Ideally, the person who should file the report is the victim itself. Who?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That.
Okay. Please.
Nah, itu mungkin yang di awal mungkin bisa jajarkan terkait dengan unsur 310, 311. Artinya ada proses, kami menduga bahwa dalam konteks laporan ini ada upaya kriminalisasi terhadap Pak Grace.
So we are a lawyer, as a lawyer, assume that there is strong allegation of fabricated cases or criminalization against Mr. Kristianto.
Kenapa kami mengatakan menduga bahwa ada dugaan kriminalisasi terhadap Pak Kris? Karena pertama, seperti penjelasan kronologis yang disampaikan Pak Kris tadi. Nah, yang kemudian setelah proses pelaporan dan pemeriksaan klarifikasi, ada kemudian kita mengirimkan surat permohonan gelar perkara khusus, kemudian kasus berhenti, tidak lagi ada pemanggilan sampai kemudian 1 tahun dari rentan waktu 1 tahun. Nah, kemudian ada panggilan lagi.
Why we declare that there is a strong allegation of fabricated cases or criminalization against Mr. Kristianto, because based on the chronology that we are learned from Mr. Kristianto, and then we sent a letter last year, then the investigator stopped for a while the investigation process for more or less 1 year. Then on November 20, the investigator start again to summon Mr. Kristianto.
Nah, panggilan
do you need the reason why they resume the inquiry?
Apa alasannya kenapa mereka melanjutkan penyelidikan?
Waktu pemeriksaan kami sempat mempertanyakan kepada penyidik, penyidik tidak menjawab apa alasan kemudian proses berhenti. Nah,
so we already asked the police investigator, but they didn't give clear answer.
Nah, kami menduga bahwa laporan di pemanggilan di bulan November itu selang seminggu setelah kami melakukan proses advokasi bersama Pak Kris, melakukan proses advokasi karena ada salah satu anggotanya Pak Kris ini sedang mengalami proses PHK di daerah Medan. Nah, waktu itu kami datang ke Medan untuk melakukan advokasi. Kemudian kami dapat panggilan itu.
We assume why the investigator finally summoned Mr. Kristianto, because a week before the police summoned Mr. Kristianto, we are lawyer, team lawyer, advocate, member of labor union led by Mr. Kristianto. So we assume that because of our advocacy, finally Mr. Kristianto summoned again by the police.
Yeah.
So what is the situation now?
So bagaimana situasinya sekarang?
Kalau situasi sekarang pasca pemeriksaan kemarin belum ada panggilan lagi ya, karena kemarin juga kami sempat mempertanyakan kepada penyidik terkait dengan konten materi. Penyidik baru menyampaikan kepada kami bahwa tuduhan pasal 27 ayat 3 itu berdasarkan konten berita yang dimuat di website Nyata Berjuang.
Okay, in the last examination process that occurred on November 2020, we asked the investigator about the content of the case, but there is no clear information. But the investigator informed us that the content of the case is related with the publication of one website called Nyata Berjuang, which published the statement of Mr. Kristianto.
Nah, dari pemeriksaan kemarin sebenarnya seharusnya dalam materi yang disampaikan, artinya penyidik sudah punya kesimpulan bahwa Pak Kris sebenarnya tidak bisa dikenakan 310 ayat 310 dan 27 ayat 3 UU ITE, karena Pak Kris tidak pernah melakukan transmisi kepada web Nyata Berjuang yang kami temukan.
So actually in the last examination process, we saw that the investigator cannot decide that Mr. Kristianto violate the Article 310 and also Article 27 because there is no evidence that Mr. Kristianto transmit or publish the statement to the website of Nyata Berjuang.
Ya, jadi penyidik memahami bahwa Nyata Berjuang itu bagian dari websitenya Serikat Pekerja Perjuangan Bank Maybank Indonesia. Itu jadi ada kerancuan bahwa penyidik ternyata juga tidak memahami secara detail mengenai persoalan yang diperiksa ini gitu loh. Jadi tidak bisa membedakan antara website Nyata Berjuang yang miliknya SP Danang dengan SPBNI gitu.
So actually the investigator also confused because they cannot distinguish between the website of labor union belong to Mr. Kristianto and also labor union belong to the Maybank. So in this area there is no clear.
So what is the why is it against this publication, these internet publications that the case is, or what? What is the exact case?
Jadi kenapa ini terkait dengan kasus itu Pak Kris yang di internet itu?
Iya.
Jadi kalau yang di Nyata Berjuang itu mereka meliput kegiatan kita. Meliput kegiatan kita.
So in the website of Nyata Berjuang, they coverage or publish our activity actually.
So activity itself, what is wrong with the activity legally?
Apa yang salah dengan aktivitas yang dipublikasikan oleh Nyata Berjuang, Pak?
Nah, itu yang tidak jelas juga.
Sebenarnya tidak ada yang salah dengan aktivitas yang peliputan yang dilakukan oleh Nyata Berjuang, karena konten di dalam Nyata Berjuang itu tidak ada juga unsur-unsur yang dituduhkan sebagaimana pasal yang disampaikan oleh penyidik.
Okay, so actually there is nothing wrong with the publication of Nyata Berjuang related with our activity because there is, and it is not actually not relevant with the article charged by the police investigator, which is Article 310 of the Indonesian Penal Code and also Article 27 of the ITA law.
Yeah. So the publication, with the publication, what they are charging him is for criminal defamation.
Jadi tuduhan yang diberikan itu adalah pencemaran nama baik, benar nggak?
Iya, benar.
Iya,
pencemaran nama baik.
Yes, criminal defamation.
So if what he has said is not defamatory, how can there be defamation? You say that the sections 310 and all that, according to that, it doesn't fall within that.
Jadi kalau ini bukan tindakan pencemaran nama baik, kenapa bisa ada pasal itu 310 dan 27 ITE? Coba dijelaskan, Pak.
Nah, itu yang agak janggal bagi kami ya, karena penyidik fokusnya pada pasal 27 ayat 3 Undang-Undang ITE. Nah, padahal berdasarkan ketentuan penjelasan pasal 27 ayat 3 UU ITE itu kan merujuk pada ketentuan pasal 310. Nah,
so actually we call it it is weird, or maybe there is a weaknesses because if we are talking about the Article 27 paragraph 3, we should connect the article to the Article 310 of the Indonesian Penal Code.
Nah,
So what
Pada
is
saat
the,
pemeriksaan,
Pardon?
so what is the future strategy for
Apa strategi ke depannya?
strategi ke depan yang mau kita lakukan, pertama kita sudah berkirim surat kepada Wasidik ya, Wasidik Polda Metro untuk kemudian meminta agar segera dilakukan gelar perkara khusus untuk kemudian melihat unsur itu terpenuhi atau enggak.
Okay, so we are the lawyer team already sent a letter to the Jakarta Metropolitan Police Office, especially the unit who conduct monitoring of the police investigation within the police institution. We call it Wasidik, to conduct comprehensive examination of the case.
so
selain ke penyidik, kita juga sedang membicarakan, menyampaikan kasus ini kepada Komnas HAM agar kemudian Komnas HAM, Dewan Pers, agar kemudian mereka ini juga memantau atas peristiwa yang dihadapi oleh Pak Kris ini.
So we are lawyer team also send a letter to the National Commission on Human Rights, and then Press Council, National Press Council. Satu lagi apa? Dewan Pers terus?
Dewan Pers sama Komisi 3.
And also the Indonesian Parliament, especially the Commission 3 dealing with law and human rights, to monitor the case.
Okay. So what can be done is two things we could do. One
Jadi
is
dua hal yang bisa kita lakukan.
With the letters that you have written, if we can draft a proper urgent appeal and get many people to write to the government
Jadi kita bisa
on this case. That's the first one.
Jadi kita bisa membuat urgent appeal ya, atau surat desakan, dan itu bisa mengajak semua orang untuk mengirimi surat kepada pemerintah. Itu langkah pertama. Please next, Mr. Basil.
Next one is that there is offense of criminal defamation has been removed in many countries.
Jadi serangan terhadap pasal terhadap pencemaran nama baik itu sebenarnya sudah banyak dihapus di banyak negara.
What you have is civil defamation, and it is
please then please.
It has for many countries they have removed criminal defamation. That is, you can arrest people or to send people to jail for defamation. You can only sue them for damages in a civil jurisdiction.
Jadi di banyak negara sebenarnya kasus pencemaran nama baik ini kasus yang sifatnya privat, yang hanya bisa digugat ya atau dituntut. Tidak seperti di negara Anda yang sifatnya itu kriminalisasi atau kriminal, karena di banyak negara sudah dihapus.
So because you all also are unions, we can start a campaign. We can start a campaign to remove the criminal defamation from the Indonesian law.
Jadi kita bisa memulai kampanye untuk menghapuskan pasal pencemaran nama baik dari hukum Indonesia.
There were some countries in Asia which has the criminal defamation, but because of there's a demand both from locally as well as by international organizations and the UN, the criminal defamation has been removed now.
Jadi banyak pengalaman dari negara Asia ya, karena tuntutan domestik, kemudian dukungan dari organisasi internasional dan juga UN atau PBB, banyak desakan, akhirnya banyak negara Asia menghapuskan pasal pencemaran nama baik dari hukum mereka.
So for the first one, that is to take it up as an urgent appeal, what is needed is a proper write-up. The people outside can understand about this case of the Kristianto.
Jadi yang harus dilakukan adalah menuliskan dengan baik kasus ini dan tentang pencemaran nama baik di Indonesia sehingga orang di luar publik itu bisa mengerti, memahami apa yang terjadi sebenarnya, khususnya kasusnya Pak Kristianto.
On the second issue of the ending the defamation law, criminal defamation law, what is needed is a well written legal document explaining everything. And then that can also be sent to the UN agencies. And we could have for some time. It will take it will have to be done not once, but it will a few months we can spend trying to have advocacy on removal of the criminal defamation.
Jadi kita bisa menyiapkan dokumen legal yang baik ya, atau penulisan yang baik tentang pencemaran nama baik dan kasus ini. Kita bisa tujukan kepada badan-badan PBB yang terkait dan desakan untuk menghapuskan pasal pencemaran nama baik ini. Tentu ini membutuhkan waktu juga agar membutuhkan waktu bisa berbulan-bulan pekerjaan ini agar bisa mendapatkan desakan atau dukungan. Please, Mr. Basil.
What do you think about that proceeding that way?
Apa yang Anda pikirkan, Pak Kristianto dan Mas Fathul Qoir, dengan usulan itu? Please, Mr. Kristianto.
Ya, saya pikir itu baik dalam rangka untuk menghapus secara global ya, maksudnya di Indonesia. Dalam skala makronya, dalam skala mikronya, untuk kasus ini saya pikir penting juga didesak untuk
dihentikan.
Ya, dihentikan gitu ya.
Oke. I think the suggestion is very good. In my opinion, in the macro scale or global scale, to remove the article of criminal defamation in Indonesia law is good. But my concern is also about my case. I think it's also important to urge the authority to stop or discontinue my case.
Yeah. So that is why I said that we have to do two things.
Jadi itu kenapa saya katakan kita melakukan dua hal.
One is urgent appeal regarding his case itself.
Ya.
Yang pertama urgent appeal tentang kasusmu itu sendiri. Then
second one is a campaign on the criminal defamation. These are two separate things.
Jadi yang kedua kampanye tentang pencemaran nama baik dan ini adalah dua hal yang terpisah. Apakah Anda senang dengan
I agree.
usulan itu?
I'm happy for that. Yeah.
Happy, Mr. Basil.
Ya.
Mr. Fathul Qoir?
Saya kira memang harus dikampanyekan ya, didesak agar kemudian negara mencabut pasal 310 dan 27 ITE, karena ini seringkali menjadi alat untuk kemudian membungkam human defender, artinya berjuang asasi manusia. Karena itu hal yang paling mudah untuk digunakan kemudian meredam perlawanan terhadap masyarakat yang kemudian berlawan baik.
So I do agree to remove the article of criminal defamation, especially under the Article 27 of the ITA, and also Article 310 of the Indonesian Penal Code, because those articles frequently used by the authority to charge activists or freedom of expressions itself.
So we can take it up also separately with the National Human Rights Commission.
Ya.
Jadi kita bisa lakukan secara terpisah dengan Komnas HAM.
Yeah.
So we could do that within the coming 2 weeks. If you first do this write-up, the 2 write-ups, and then Chris, we can discuss this further and take this case up.
Jadi kita bisa melakukan ini dalam 2 minggu ke depan untuk menuliskan kasus ini.
So is there any other issues that you want to discuss?
Apakah ada lagi Pak Kris dan Pak Fathul Qoir yang ingin disampaikan sebelum kita akhiri?
No, that's enough.
Saya kira ini ya, memang kita membutuhkan dukungan internasional untuk kemudian kampanye dalam 2 hal tadi. Pertama, untuk menghentikan kasusnya Pak Kris sendiri di Polda Metro Jaya. Nah, yang kedua, target kedua adalah bagaimana kemudian kita bisa mengkampanyekan secara luas agar negara Indonesia segera mencabut 2 pasal itu, pasal 310
so,
dan juga 27 ITE. Gitu.
So we need support from the international organization, especially to urge the governments or the authority to stop or discontinue the case against Mr. Kristianto, and also globally we can develop campaign to remove the article of 310 of the Indonesian Penal Code and also article 27 under the ITE law. Ada lagi Pak Juir?
Saya kira itu cukup.
I think that's enough. Ya, Pak Kristianto, do you have something else? Ada lagi Pak Kris?
Mungkin untuk international company yang ada di Indonesia itu lebih mengontrol khususnya pelaksanaan freedom of expression, freedom to join the union, something like that.
Okay, my expectation for the international company actually, if they are present in Indonesia, they should control or maybe respect the freedom of expression and also freedom of trade union in Indonesia.
In this case, what is the particular company involved?
Dalam kasus ini perusahaan apa yang terlibat?
Maybank.
Maybank, Mr. Basil.
Yeah, Maybank.
And that is there's a
Malaysian bank.
Malaysian bank.
I see.
Yeah.
So we can take it up also with them, and we can in the campaign we can take up the issue with them, with their main company in Malaysia.
Jadi kita juga bisa mengambil kasus ini dan kita arahkan juga ke induk perusahaannya di Malaysia.
Yeah, I think that's good.
So we will proceed that way, and we will continue this discussion after some work. Maybe within the coming 2 weeks, we will do some work on this, on both sides, on your side and us. And then maybe we will have another discussion at that stage.
Oke, so jadi dalam 2 minggu ke depan kita akan bekerja untuk kasus ini. Dari sisi kami akan melakukan tugas kami, dan dari sisi Anda juga tetap melakukan advokasi. Ya, itu sih yang disampaikan Mr. Basil.
Oke, baik, terima kasih.
Dan kita juga akan melakukan diskusi lagi ya nanti ke depan.
Yeah.
Disampaikan itu. So, anything else, Mr. Basil?
Oh, that's fine.
Oke, cukup ya. Cukup ya, Pak Juir ya.
Oke, cukup.
Mr. Kristianto cukup. Oke, thank you very much, Mr. Kristianto.
Nice talking to you.
Ya.
Nice talking to you too.
Oke,